Hello everyone, we're back again with another live video. We're just waiting for Maria to join, and then we're gonna rock out with some music and then we can get started. She's already doing. Hello. We're just getting Maria in. Hello, how are you? What's going on?
What happened?
I said, what's going on?
We here maintaining and things, trying to thrive in 2024 and stuff.
We love it. You've been CEOing a lot lately. For everybody
What
else,
happened?
it's been busy. I said you've been CEOing a lot lately.
Oh, I have.
Mm-hmm.
I have. You want to turn the music down a little bit?
Oh my goodness. Are you ready for today? I'm ready.
I'm
Wow.
a little ready, and then I'm like, I want to know how this is gonna go because these dating pools are interesting. I am not going to. They do have just a little bit of urine in them, just a little bit of urine. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like our generation, my generation has made it a little bit mixy. I don't know.
Gen Z. Let's
Mm-hmm.
get it together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think there's a lot, and we'll talk about it. There's a lot, and we'll talk about it. I think with social media, the times, and all that, I think social media has really been part of the seed that germinated into a lot of the issues around dating. I don't think it was this. Well, I come from an age where I was alive and I dated in an era where there was no social media
Mm-hmm.
because I'm the millennial, you're the Gen Z, and it was not like this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, is it the social media, or is it the social media compounded with society and all this other stuff?
I feel like it's a mixture of both, but we'll definitely unpack that. Do you
Okay,
want to get started or do you
let's
want to
get
wait a little bit?
started.
All right. Let me just turn the music off.
I'm very comfortable, so y'all
Oh,
probably
we
see.
got your leg up. Oh, yeah, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, this is one of those leg up. You get what I'm saying? I'm highly very comfortable.
I love it.
Yeah, I was taking a nap earlier because I was seeing going so much. So
Okay.
this is like this is like me coming to the live
I
comfortably.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. We're back again. Hi, Maria. We're back with the Embrace Her Legacy live show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still February. Happy Black History Month. And it is also the month of love. And we want to talk about 2024's dating scene. And let's be real, how many of us can really admit that the dating pool is not looking too hot right now? I feel like a lot of us have forgotten how to date properly and how to create those real connections. But of course, Embrace Her Legacy and our founder and CEO, Maria Melendez, are here to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like our live shows, you like our social media, and you want more professional queen content from us, then make sure that you subscribe to our Patreon page. And I already dropped the link below. I'm going to pin it for you guys. And we have a new ebook that will help you break up with your inner saboteur. That little voice inside your head, we got you. We getting rid of her.
We got you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially I think, and I know we'll talk about the the importance of your relationship with you being all right,
Mm-hmm.
so that can be the catalyst and the foundation to having a better relationship with others. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The dating scene, it really is like a jungle. So the title is very fitting.
Yeah,
So just
it
know,
is.
I don't know.
Because
Just
you gotta think about when you're in the jungle, you gotta worry about mad things, right? You just trying to survive. You like,
right.
yo, I don't know if there's a snake over there. I don't know if a bird is gonna poop on my head. I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep and make sure that a lion doesn't eat me or the hyena doesn't smell me. It's like that. And I was toying with the title about it, but it is, it's just like New York is the concrete jungle. You know how it is in New York City, where you got to figure it out here, right? So I think in that you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to be, your head is on a swivel. This is as gentrified as Brooklyn might get. I'm always, hey Rose, as
Hi.
gentrified as New York might get. You always, we're taught how to, like, it's still the concrete jungle. So I think, like, with dating, it's still just certain parameters and this time that we have to deal with. And again, I don't know what happened in the last decade that has made dating such a interesting landscape. I don't know if it's the dating apps, the online accessibility of it all. Because baby, I come from an era where Black Planet was it. You get what I'm saying? I mean, like, what is a Black Planet? If you don't know what a Black Planet is, and you're too young. But that was the one website, online dating website that people had. And back then, dating online was frowned upon. It was like,
Really?
yes, absolutely. If you talked about you was dating online in 2001, people were looking at you like you had something wrong with you. 2001, 2005, dating online was definitely frowned upon in my generation as a millennial. Back then, it was like, you can't find a real date. And I remember even in 2018, when a girlfriend of mine was asking me, she was like, Maria, have you ever tried online dating? I'm like, no, what I need that for? I'm better in person. Like, I don't. So even then, there was still some, I guess, of course, in 2018, it was a lot more prevalent. But I think where the shift really happened, at least for me in the online dating space, was then when COVID hit. It's like, God, you kind of have to, like, meet online. That was just a better place to meet. So I think there's just a lot of layers about social interactions and expectations and just communications that, in 2008 we didn't have to deal with, as opposed to 2024.
Right.
Whereas, like, you could just ghost somebody. You feel like the one thing I do see, that there's this misconception that you have all these options because you have these apps, you have Instagram, da da da. And it's like, yeah, you might think you have options, but is it quality? You get what I'm saying? All those things are hit. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and I don't know. Me and my girlfriend, we're talking about this, and we're like, yo, what's the problem? Like, what is the problem? So I don't know if we're gonna figure it out in the next hour, but we'll definitely talk about it.
We could try.
We could try. We can try. And the point of this live is literally to encourage people. Like, we're not gonna figure it out. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, we're not gonna figure it all out, but hopefully somebody can take away something that's gonna be helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like, let's start light. I know that my day and age, social medias are a big thing, but you're more about meeting in person. So what are your best 3 tips for getting into the dating scene?
Ooh. I think tip number 1, get you some nice outfits. Like, I know that sounds very, like, how can I say, not cliche, but a little bit, what's the word that I'm looking for? It can sound a little self-centered. It can sound a little materialistic, but no, get you some cute outfits. First and foremost, I'm a firm believer that when you look good, you feel good. So whatever it is that is going to be cute date night outfits, I would definitely start there. Like, prepare for what you're preparing for. Prepare for it, so you are ready physically. You're ready for the assignment. So, like, certain things. So, perfect example. When my girlfriends and I, when we're going out on dates, we call each other and we'll be like, "What you looking? What aesthetic you're going for?" I'm like, "What you want to give?" So I think that's cute. I think that's like the fun, cute part of dating, is making sure that you have, like, the outfits you want to wear. The last thing you want to do is, today's Monday, somebody asks you for a date on Thursday, you're like, what am I gonna wear? You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you always have your clothes on deck.
Right.
So I think that's the first, like, fun, ha kiki. Might be a little shallow, but I think that's cute. I think the second one will be, build your self-confidence before you step out on dating. Because if you're not confident, you're susceptible to being walked over, and also not being an advocate for yourself in dating. Dating really tests, it tests you, because it's going to test whether or not you meant what you said.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because you can profess in dating, well, I'm not gonna date anyone who's not looking for anything serious. Oh, baby, that's gonna be tested because you're gonna meet people who are gonna say, I'm not looking for anything serious. And if you don't have a self-confidence within yourself, you're not gonna be able to advocate for yourself and say, and know your values enough to say this is not for me, and be able to walk away from that not feeling like you lost anything. So I say definitely, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
there are thousands of potential
Mhm.
partners. I agree. And then set your goals. Another thing I would say, set your goals around dating and manage your expectations. That's what I would do. What are your intentions? Every season of my life where I have been single as an adult, because those of you who don't know, and I jokingly say I did a bid, but I was in a relationship for 10 years, from like the time I was like 21 until I was in my 30s. So I didn't get, before that, it was like high school, college, nothing really serious. So post that, when I came out of that and I healed and I was, fabulous, every season of my life in dating, I knew what my goals and what my intentions were. So I think you need to set dating goals. Like, why am I dating? What do I really want out of this season? And that's okay to be honest enough with yourself to say, you know what, in this season, I just want to date and get to know myself and what I like. That was a season I went through where I was like, all right, I need to date as a single woman. I don't want to commit to anything like that. So I would set your goals around dating, manage your expectations, please, especially around social media. I think we think that everybody's love story is different. Some people meet on the first date, fall in love, and the rest is history. Some people meet on the first date, like, I don't know. It takes some time to warm up as a slow cooker. It's like a pot roast. So it takes some time. So manage your expectations. Like, this is your love story, and everybody's love story is different. Be realistic about what you want, so that you should be able to reciprocate. Like, you know what I'm saying? You should have some things, some non-negotiables. You just got to know your non-negotiables. Like, right. So things like that. Like, yeah, and be realistic, because I think sometimes especially with social media, we got this. I want him to have this, that. Do you match this, that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, and with social media. Oh, and we're gonna talk about this. Don't compare your real dating life, what's going on behind the scenes, to what you see on social media, which I know we'll
Mhm.
talk about in a second. I know that was more than three, but what are some tips for dating that you would say, like getting back in the game? And we have an audience. Somebody could be young as 20 and older as 40, maybe even coming out of divorce. Like, what would you say to someone who wants to get back on a dating scene?
Well, I would say, coming from personal experience, like, just make sure that you're ready. Because I feel like once you have a breakup, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm trying to go on these dates and X, Y, and Z. But it's like, did you do the inner work? Are you healed yet? And it doesn't happen overnight. But I would feel like, take that time to, like, grieve the breakup and then get back into the dating scene, because I feel like that will blind you. And you might be picking partners that don't actually match up or align with what you really want, but it's just like what your hurt self might want right now or what they're craving right now. So that's a big tip for me. I definitely agree with outfits. That's a big one for me, because it's like, when you look good, you feel good, and I feel like you present yourself in the best way possible. So that's a good one. And date yourself. I feel like that's
Ooh,
really, really important. I know a lot of my homegirls can't even go, like, to lunch by themselves, because they're like, no, this is awkward. Like, why am I hanging out by myself? You really have to get comfortable with being in your own space before you can share the space with someone else. So I feel like that's a very, very important goal. Practicing your own love languages is another important one that kind of like go hand in hand with that. Like, if you need words of affirmation, and you're not telling yourself that you're proud of yourself or that you think you're beautiful, even people, I feel like people think that it's silly and that it doesn't work, but it does, because you're uplifting yourself if that's what you really enjoy. So that too, practicing your love languages, I feel like that's an important one.
that's a good one. That's a
Hmm.
really good one. And then knowing them too. You know what's another good one? And this is like, for y'all, I didn't even have this in my notes. you should also know your apology language. You know, the same way like there's love language, the same test of the same authors who created the love language book and the love languages, the test, the quiz. They also have something called apology languages. So it's like there's 5 love languages, there's 5 apology languages. So like restitution and things like that. And I talk to my girlfriends a lot. And when I hear like, you know, we talk about our, you know, whatever conflict that you might be having with your man or whatever, I'm always like, yo, do you know your apology language? And then like, no. And I'm like, go take this test. And then now I think that's a good part of knowing yourself. So when you start dating, you're like, okay, if that person makes some sort of error, you know how you like to reconcile your relationship. So I think that's good. So along with your love languages, I also think you should know your apology language as well.
That's an important one because I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, and it's good because then it's. I think everybody should take it. I think everybody should take it. Yeah, you know,
After this, you gotta send it to me because I didn't know
I,
about that.
I learned about it like last year or the year, and it made so much sense. I was like, I think like some people like to be made restitution. Some people like to hear apologies. Some people want to prove that you are really sorry. It's a whole big deal, but I think it's a good deal.
Oh wow, that's cool. Okay, this is the hot topic: social media.
Oh God.
From dating expectations to how easy it is to access people, it really makes dating hard. So,
Mhm.
how do you not let it get to you or affect your relationship?
Just because you have access to something doesn't mean it's good. Like that's what I'm gonna say. I think like social media has distorted this. Just because someone can DM you and you can meet someone, again, are you gonna meet quality people? Like it's kind of like with job searching. There's millions of jobs there. You don't like most of them. So you find an issue with most of them. So I think with social media, again, it's tricky and deceiving to say I have all these options. Okay, go and test those options, and chances are it's like, how can I say, it's even like friendships. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you may have 50 people, but baby, only like 3 of them is your quality friendship. So why
Mm-hmm.
I think social media is tricking a lot of people. Just because somebody is sliding in your DMs, is that even something quality? Now, if that's what you want, you just, trying to dip it and do it and have a good time, cool. And I think it might be different also for men, because I know men may see that differently. And men always have to see, because they're rejected most, right? Because men, they're normally the pursuer, so they're used to rejection, and then like another one will come, another one will come, another one will come. A woman, we don't, that's not normally how it's done with us. So men might see it as I have all these options, and women might say I have all these options, but it's like all those options, quality options. I can guarantee you that most of them are not. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen and there can be exceptions to the rule. So I feel like social media is not really a real place. Like it's like this place
It's a
where
simulation.
we all put on this front, ooh, 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 ah. I think a lot of us, especially now with these overly curated, we were on the beaches of Tahiti and we took the plane, and these like videos of these couples, which is great, do your thing, but you don't know right before that they did shot that reel that they were arguing, or you don't know that he's sliding in somebody else's DM as she's posting that video. So I think like it's important not to envy others on social media, because you never know the whole story or what someone had to endure to get there, right? There's these couples, and people say couple goals, yeah, but they've been together 20 years. You know what I'm saying? They have 20 years in the making to build that strong foundation. So I think like to not let it get to you is one of my as I've grown older, there's beauty in keeping a lot of your personal life private off of social media. I think there's beauty and there's power in that. And I'm not saying that if you want to show who you're dating, I'm not against that, but just try to be conscious and use wisdom and discernment of what you choose to share and what not to share on social media about yourself. And also be conscious of the bait that you are doing, that you are using to attract attention. You can't be upset if you're posting certain type of videos of yourself, as a woman that lead, that are a little bit more, let's say, risque. And then people are now, you're putting, you got to be conscious of the energy that you're putting out, right? Now, I'm not saying that is right or anything like that, but I think like sometimes you want to be conscious of just how you're showing up on social media, because unfortunately we live in this world where people think that because you post on social media that they know you and they have access to you and they know you behind closed doors, and if you post certain type of things they may think that it is their right, you get what I'm saying, to talk to you a certain type of way. When you posted that, no, it's not. So I think like there's a lot around this social media and not letting it affect your relationship. I think you got to remember that, like they said, social media is this curated place. Keep your business off of it. Be conscious of what you're posting and what you're putting out into the world, because once you post it, baby, you can't take it back. You get what I'm saying? So be that. Um, yeah, I would say like deal with the part of you that needs to get approval, or whatever it is that you're seeking from social media, approval, whatever it is in your dating life. Deal with that, because that's an insecurity that has to be dealt with. So I think before you got to deal, like what you said, Isis, you got to deal with your own self, so that you don't let what these social media streets is pumping you and saying you're around. Because like again, it's a place, it's a very curated space, it's not a real space. People don't show all that facets of their lives. And I think again, like, yeah, you can engage with people, and yeah, there's more dating candidates, but like I said, a lot of those don't blossom. Some of them do, and a lot of them don't. So I don't know. It's a lot with social media. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. What should I say, Isis?
I don't know. I just feel like with social media in my day and age, I feel like they're just so obsessed with being seen, if that makes sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
they want you to know that they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. They want you to know that they're so happy and X, Y, and Z. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's very beautiful. But I feel like the I don't know, the cherry on the top of being in a relationship is just like having certain things that you could really cherish and share with your partner. And I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like putting it all over social media just doesn't make it, I don't want to say it doesn't make it as authentic, but I just feel like you're like selling it to us. Especially with celebrities. I feel like, oh, like you're, like you said, like doing these extravagant videos and X, Y, and Z. It was like, when you're looking at like kids, I guess, or teenagers, they're like, oh my gosh, like if my boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't do that for me, they don't care about me. Or if they're not working their tail off to get me a Birkin or whatever designer that I want, then they don't really care about me or what I like. And I just like, I don't know how we got here. Like I don't know how we got
I
here.
don't know how we got here. Good.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think about it also in what you said, like, can you, not bring it to the table, but like, can you match up with your partner? Like, you want him to do all these extravagant things. Like, can you return the favor? Like, can you get him something designer, or can you take him out to that expensive restaurant? Like, I feel like social media is just, I don't know, kind of tainting the dating pool too, because 10 people can DM me right now, but for me personally, I know like that's not my boyfriend. Like,
Yeah.
it we're not gonna share the exact same memories.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna have the same feelings that me and him have, things that we've grown from. Of course you can create different connections, but I
Right.
feel like they're not gonna be the exact same as the one that you
Right.
have with your partner. Like,
Right.
and you could take that leap of faith and it might be great, but then also it might not be. And it's just like, I don't know.
Is it
Like,
worth
it's not worth it.
it? Is it
That's
worth
the
it?
$1 million question.
Is
Is it worth it?
it worth it? Is it worth that? Yeah, social media has just taken such, like you said, tainted. That's a perfect word, tainting. And then I get it. I know so many stories of people who met their spouses online. I slid in her DM, or he slid in my DMs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. But again, I think we have to deal with the part of us that feels that has to be seen. And I get it. You want to showcase, your man done took you on the vacation to the Anguillas, right? You want to showcase that. That's great. But, always question and ask yourself why. Why do I need, what am I really looking for here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And deal with that little part of you that feels like she needs to be like what are you looking, what validation are you looking for from others on social media? And then sometimes it could be, I ain't looking for nothing. I just want to
I just
post
like this
whatever. Yeah,
picture.
I just feel cool. But if there is some validation or something around what it is that you're looking for, then I think you got to deal with that. Like, there's these false like, I don't want to say false pressures, but these unrealistic expectations. And I couldn't be at 21 thinking that my little 22-year-old boyfriend can afford to take me to Tahiti, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna have these, oh my God, we're gonna be on the beaches of, I don't know, somewhere in Zanzibar, and we're gonna fly this, and we're gonna have all this for a post. Most of us, when we go on vacation, we don't even enjoy the darn vacation because we're so busy posting, like, or we are in these experiences. You're so busy catching content. Did you stop to realize that you were having a beautiful moment?
That's
But
so true. I feel like that takes away from things so much.
it
So
does. It's frustrating. It's like, man, do you understand that this is a beautiful moment? So what if you don't get pictures? So what if, I would challenge people sometimes, like, let's see, I know people go on so many vacations and you will never know because they don't post it, right? And so everybody's like, damn, she doesn't do anything. It's like, no, she actually just went to 3 different countries in the last 2 months, right? So I don't know. So there's a lot. I get it. We want to showcase it, but like, it's all like, to where did we get here? And again, I've heard so many stories of, and everybody's been there, of people who relationships you're looking at on social media that look all perfect, and behind the scenes it's definitely filled with its imperfections, right? So I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, social media is just like one of the places that you can meet people, but I feel like dating apps have definitely been taking over too.
Mm-hmm.
I personally have never been on one, but I know a lot of our audience probably has. So,
Mm-hmm.
how can we as women navigate that landscape of the dating apps and the online platforms while still being authentic and making meaningful connections?
I've definitely experienced the dating
Okay.
apps. And I'm not gonna call out which ones are better than others and what to expect from each one, because each one presents a different type of packaged
Yeah.
offering, right?
Yeah.
So you got to manage your expectations from which one you're on.
Do you?
However, for the more pleasant ones that I've been on, I think it's not a bad space. I think it's actually a great space to meet some quality people. I would first be selective of the apps that I'm using, right? Again, you have to know certain apps come with a different type of package offering than other apps, right? They may they may veer more one way than to the other. But if you are looking for a quality situation, so try to find a good quality app. I think there are ones that are better than others. So that's one way. That's one. Then know your values. If you want to be authentic to yourself, you gotta know what your values are. What do you stand for? What are your non-negotiables? It starts with you. Like, what do you want? What can you give? And who are you? Like, if you can't answer that question about who are you, instead of like, oh my God, I want to be with somebody, I want to be with somebody. Why? We all are wired for connection and partnership. There's nothing wrong, but what are you looking for? You can't be authentic to you if you don't know who you are. So I would say knowing your values, building your confidence, be honest on your dating apps about your intentions, and about who you are. There are certain dating apps, like I said, are a little bit more quality than others that will allow you to, you can share like your faith-based beliefs. You can share if you have children, want children, what are you looking for? If you want to look for something serious, if you're looking for, just something casual, be honest on your like profile, right? I think that's good, so that you can like weed out the nonsense. And then you should have when I was on dating apps before, I definitely had some things I'd be like, nope, No, that was just non-negotiables. So you should know that again, certain apps are a little bit, they have more they just a little, they're just better built out infrastructurally, and you can see certain things about certain people that you're like, okay, I don't really feel comfortable dating someone who says he's only looking for something casual. No, or I don't feel comfortable with say dating someone who doesn't share my same
Right.
faith. No, right? So I think that's good, so that you could weed that out. And now you gotta know yourself and love yourself enough to veer away from people who don't share your same dating values. Be adaptable and flexible. Be very adaptable and flexible, because it's going to be an experience with some dating apps. But don't change who you are to satisfy someone else's need, right? So if you're like, listen, if you say, listen, I don't want to have children, and that's on you, and
Mm-hmm.
that person is like, I really do, if you want to stand your ground on that, then hey, so I would say know who you are, and that way stand on your standards, your non-negotiables. Again, have self-confidence. Confidence speaks louder than any Birkin bag. You know what I'm saying? If you confident, you can walk up in there with a Fashion Nova outfit, a bag from Rainbow, and some pressed-on nails, and you will outdo the chick who has the Birkin bag on, who may have the Chanel outfit. If you know what I'm saying, your confidence is what exudes. That's what shines bright. That's what attractive. Like when you get what I'm saying? I don't know who you think you're talking
Mm-hmm.
to, but it's, when you have that, baby,
But they could
that
tell you
that
nothing.
light, that can't tell you nothing. That's gonna be the light. That's gonna be like one thing to certain, two things to certain. One of the things I get complimented on on the most is, Maria, your confidence and your swag. Like, dang, your swag. I'm like, I know, but that's the time. Yeah. So, and the last thing I would say about dating apps, have fun. Have fun. Have an experience. Stop making it so like, girl, every experience is gonna teach you something. It's gonna teach you something about yourself. It's gonna teach you something about what you need to prepare yourself. What preparing you for ideal partners. So I was saying, honestly, have fun on them apps. Like, oh, and just a safety precaution. When you're meeting people on these apps, always meet I would say try to meet. I would say definitely try to FaceTime the people first. Like if you get phone numbers. So I would definitely do that. FaceTime, meet in a well lit place. Just safety parameters, because people ain't wrapped too tight. So that's what I would say with dating.
That's true. I feel like that's true.
People are not wrapped too tight. So that's just something you dating apps. Remember, you're meeting these people from nowhere. So just, like I said, try to FaceTime someone before you meet them in real person, because catfishing is real. If you are gonna meet them in person, make sure somebody knows your location, knows who the
Mm-hmm.
person is. Take a snapshot of that person's profile and send it to a trusted friend. I don't know. I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. I'm still keep my head on the swivel. I don't care what year it is. I'm still gonna be like, somebody gonna know who I'm with, what he said his name was, and they're gonna have his phone number just in case. So that's just that's just extra.
Well, that's good advice. Yeah.
Extra little precautionary measures when you meet people from apps. Okay, I says, I know you said you don't have experience with dating apps, but if you had to share some pointers with, the women about how to maintain authenticity and establish meaningful connections.
I feel like with the dating apps, you're really, you got to put your best foot forward.
Mhm.
So, of course, you want to remain authentic. But, the thing that my friends do the most when they're doing these dating apps, I feel like they try to make it not as cutthroat, more like
Mhm.
lighthearted, like, put a little joke in there or put like a personality photo in there.
So,
I feel like that could really showcase and like make it warm and
mhm.
welcoming. Um, I feel like because it's like social media, people are just like, oh, let me just swipe right, let me just talk to them because I have options. But it's like when you're getting on these dating apps, be intentional about what you're looking for. So it's like if you want your husband and you see that, like you said, that profile's like, oh, I only want something casual, don't feel like you need to swipe right just
Mhm.
because.
Mhm.
You could be like, you know what, no, I'm gonna pass up on that. And also, I feel like FaceTiming is very, very important because texting, I feel like it doesn't get too far. I feel you can never really truly understand what a person means through text. I feel like a phone call will really tell you because you can hear their voice. I don't have experience but with the dating apps, but if it's anything like social media, I feel like people show you exactly who they are, like, the first few conversations. So if you feel like it's not working for you, you know, you can always like try to do something else or try a different app. And I don't know. I know that some of my friends have used Tinder. It's, different type of audience. So, explore your options, do your research. I have a friend, I'm not gonna say her name, but she's on, I think, right now. She will make a list of all her dating apps. She's like, okay, like this one is religion based. This is the type of people I could connect with. There's this dating app. I feel like it's more college kids. Like this is what I should expect. And she has like our little dating 101 guide for our friends, and it really does help because it shows you, okay, maybe I need to get on Tinder, get out there, meet new people, or maybe I need to go on Bumble. Maybe I'll find my husband. I don't know. So yeah, I feel like that's cool. Definitely do your research.
I think that's so dope, and whoever that friend is, she needs to turn that into an ebook and sell it.
She
Like
should.
she should. Like, I'm sorry, like that's something that, especially in your landscape, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's what it is. You have different. She should turn it into ebook and sell it. And something else that I forgot about, you hinted it. You know what it is? Dating apps. You got to think yourself as you are your own brand consultant.
Yes.
So you got to be be conscious of whatever that first picture is. And again, know your intentions, because more risque photos they lend to a certain image of yourself. So if that's what you want to do, or like I said, you trying to dip it and do it, I ain't here to judge. I'm not your judge or jury. But just be conscious and mindful of the photos that you are choosing, because again, people are weirdos out there, and they have their own misconceived perceptions about you. So I would just say be conscious, and like I said, your own brand consultant. So pick your best 5 pictures. Like
Be a
nah, pick a nice
marketing genius.
headshot, pick a nice selfie, pick something that you could see, your curves. You know what I'm saying? Like, get cute. You could see your fashion style. Get something. Don't put pictures with you and somebody else in it. I think that's the dumbest thing you could do on a dating profile. Like, all your pictures should just be you, and then it will be dope. I think if you see pictures with your personality in them, that's good. Like, it's like, oh, okay, she's joking, she's
Mm-hmm.
smiling. Make it as inviting. This is the only thing that you have that people are really running. They judging you in 2 to 3 seconds. So I would say make sure you are like, all right, if I have to sell myself, I have to market and position myself as a future wife or girlfriend or whatever it is that you're trying to do. What are the pictures that I'm going to choose? So just be mindful of that. Pick some dope pictures. And if you don't have no dope pictures, you need to go take some.
There's no excuse. This day and age, you better get somebody to take some
You
photos
better
with you.
take some. You know what's so funny, Isis? A couple years ago, I was on the app and I didn't get on, because I was like, damn, I ain't got no pictures. Baby, when I went on the vacation, came back, I had a slew of pictures. That next day, I made a profile, because it's just like, oh no, I got some cute pictures now. So it is your business to make sure you go get some nice pictures somewhere, so that you are marketing yourself,
Yeah.
well.
Okay. I have another question because I feel like my generation has been tearing this up. The nonchalantness. Why do we not care about our partners anymore? Like, does anybody want to tell me? But yeah, I feel like we're just living in that era where being nonchalant, especially as a woman, is seen as like attractive. Like, oh, she don't care about what I'm doing. Like that's like the easygoing girlfriend. So how can a woman better navigate that type of culture that's normalized, like not being interested or just lack of concern when it comes to dating?
I don't know why men are like that. Like, let's be honest, men like a chase and men like a challenge. That's just
Mhm.
period. Men are taught to be, like I said, they're the ones who are normally the pursuers. So it's kind of like a hunting thing, right? So it's like they like to hunt, right? And to a certain degree, it is true. Men do appreciate some sort of challenge. And it's a space, it's how can I say? It is a very nuanced and something you will learn as you go, as a woman in dating, how to balance being a challenge by still being feminine, attractive, and letting that person know that you're interested, right? Because you never want to come across as that overly, like I'm going to say, thirsty person. Nobody's attracted to that. Nobody's attracted to the person that is overly like over on you, like, oh my God, they're texting and calling all day. You get what I'm saying? You want to have some sort of dating is it's like a conversation. It's a ebbs and flows. Like it's a rhythm. It should follow a rhythm. So y'all should first have a rhythm. But I will say this, like, don't be too cool for school. Like if you like somebody and if you feeling somebody, that person should know it. Period. Like and if you gotta figure if you really feeling someone, vice versa. If you like someone, they should know it. It should not be a measure of ambiguity. With them, does that person really like me, or is that person feeling me?
I don't like that feeling.
Nobody does, right? So it's like, if I think you have to put your big girl, I say your big girl panties on. I tell you, I'm like, it's time to put the big girl panties on. And if you like somebody, you like them, period. And they should know it. Whether you speak it, communicate it, whether you do it in your actions, that person should know. Again, I should have that rhythm flowing, because let me tell you something about a man, and I stand 10 toes down on this. If a man is serious about you, baby, you are going to know it. There is not going to be no there's ambiguity, sorry, there's not going to be any ambiguity. There's not going to be like, damn, does he like me? You are going to know. You are going to know, because not only will he profess it, he will practice it. And because a lot of men say, a lot of people are like, oh, I really like you, I'm really feeling you, but your actions don't match that.
Right.
So the person who really is feeling you and really likes you and is serious about you, their words and their actions are going to be in alignment, and you're not going to have any questions about it. You're not going to feel insecure, because I know what it is to feel the insecurity of, damn, does he really like me? And I know what it is to feel, well, I don't know what you think you're doing, but you're not going nowhere, because you about to be single for like 2 more weeks. I'm like, like, it's just like, oh my God. So and I love that feeling of security. Like, nah, that man, he not only likes me, he's into me. I know it. He's not playing no games. It's like, okay, cool. So I would definitely say that. Also, like, stop letting the culture dictate how you move in relationships. Like, the culture be culturing, and one day it's cool to do this, next day it's cool not to. So it's like, you got to be true enough to yourself to say, nah, I'm grown. Yeah, I like you. You know what I'm saying? We cool. We could kick it. You know, where we gonna go next from here? So you got to have self-respect. That's what it comes down to. Self-respect. Like, if you got to be able to say, how can I say, when I tell my girlfriends and we talk about something, like, make the decisions that you're going to be proud of, right? So if there's nothing wrong with you if you like somebody. That's part of the game. You're supposed to like the person, right? But you want to make sure that you're always walking in self-respect and self-honor. So don't do or say anything that's going to dishonor or disrespect yourself, and also or lack self-love, because you might want to rethink that. But then, if you do like someone, say it. Like, I'm telling you, where we going from here? Like, again, communicate. But yeah, there's a line, there's a thin line about this, and it comes with knowing yourself as a woman, and knowing how to be the expressing interest, femininity, showing that you are interested in someone, but still doing it in a place where you have your dignity, you have your self-worth, you have your, and at the end of the day, to me, Isis is always being proud of myself. How you feel about what I said is none of my business. I came up and said, I'm proud of how I showed up in dating you. And if you want to be childish and not admit how you really feel because it's childish and it's immature to say, oh, I'm going to act all too cool for school. But baby, let me tell you what you're going to end up. You're going to end up alone and gray by yourself. Why? And you can't be mad if you're a man or if you're a woman, right? And you acted all too cool for school, where you didn't express or communicate how interested you were with someone because of your own fears. That has to do, that's your
You gotta
own.
work on
Yeah,
him.
that's something you gotta work on. So you, because of whatever whatever feels, whatever your inner saboteur was tearing you about, whatever insecurities you were dealing with. Now that person feels like you were disinterested, and now they move on, and now you do see them happy-go-lucky in the beaches of Tahiti on social media. Now you want to DM them and be like, "Oh, what you doing?" No, you know what I was doing. It's like, "Oh, I was really feeling you. You should have said something." You get what I'm saying? So, again, so like I said, is it worth, if you are really feeling someone and that person has, y'all done went on 3, 4, 5 dates, everything's cool. What's it, you just wanna be too cute because you don't want to think that person. Honestly, if you think like that, if you think that you are the person that there's something wrong with you admitting that you like it someone, and you would rather be nonchalant, and you would rather be too cool for school, and you want to be like, oh, you don't care, then you do not have the maturity to be in a loving, long-lasting relationship, and that's on period. If that's how you move, you do not have this emotional and emotional, mental, and spiritual maturity and tenacity it takes to build a strong, loving relationship, because you are too immature. You are too insecure. You got some issues to deal with, baby. So that's what I got to say about that. What do you say,
I
Isis?
feel like you just read me like and everybody else like a book. Like, okay.
No, because I know that. I know that whole little nonchalant thing. It's like, no, it's corny. It's tiring. It's corny. You over here trying to read between text messages like, oh, he used this emoji. Does that mean this? Oh, he said this. I don't got time. I got bigger battles to fight. You understand what I'm saying? Like, life be lifing out here. So I don't have time to think about whether you feeling me or whether you like me or not. If that's how you moving, baby, I'ma get hot. And I hate to say this, but sometimes I'm gonna give you your same energy. If you want to move, Mr. Cool, oh, you want to move like you cool? Copy. I'm gonna give you that same energy, and then you can't get mad when now you on my phone like, where you been? The same place you been, minding my business.
Doing me. I don't know.
Minding my business. And I hate it because sometimes you do have to give these men a little, like, how can I say, a little nudge. Sometimes you do have to, like, not make yourself as readily available. Sometimes you do have to play that game. I hate it. But again, it's like, it's very nuanced. It's very, like, you got to know yourself, and you got to know you are playing. It's a risk that you are playing when you do that. But I've never been in a situation with a dude that I was really feeling. And I hate when I get to the point, I'm like, oh, I got the feelings. I'm like, all right. And I call my homegirl, like, oh, I like him. And then it's like, okay, let's work through that. And, it'll be no right now. So, I don't know. I could go on a tangent and go on forever, but tell me, Isis, if you have anything to say about that.
I feel like I've been the nonchalant girl before. Like,
I
just
think you're nonchalant about life, though.
me?
Yes.
Really?
Because you're so laid back. So it's like, you don't know if Isis is happy or sad.
I'm
She's mad laid
just
back.
relax. It took a lot of growing to get like that, though.
Okay.
But when it comes to partners, I'm like a little like marshmallow. Like I'm all lovey and gushy, and I feel like with my generation, you cannot be like that with these men, like
Wow.
with these boys. You really can't, because they take advantage and they will walk all over you. And I learned that the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, you have to give them a little nudge, a little
Mm-hmm.
you really do, to make them see like, okay, like you were giving me some sort of challenge. So it's like, all right, now I can maneuver a different type of way. Or like there's some things like she's just not gonna let up on. Oh, okay, let me fall in line. And it's really important as a woman. So I don't think the whole nonchalant thing makes you any more attractive. I guess, like you said, men want the chase, but it's like at what cost? Like, how far are we going to take this to the point where it's like, okay, if I was a guy or just somebody that I was being pursued, I wouldn't be interested anymore because it doesn't seem like you're interested. So definitely being vocal. I'm the type, if you don't tell me, I don't know. I don't do the hints. You need to tell me, I like you. Oh, okay. Now I know I like you too. But it's like, okay, I'm not there yet, but or whatever the case may be. And an important thing, you have to be comfortable with not being on the same page as people that you're dating, because they might really be like head over heels, like, oh yeah, I'm ready for this, and you might be like, whoa, I'm not there yet. I do like you, but I'm really not there. So how are we gonna either make this work or maybe not? So I feel like that's a really important thing too, and it does really play a factor on how you lead in the type of relationships that you create. Because for me, I can't be with somebody that's nonchalant. I need you to express yourself in some sort of way. I need you to be vocal. And if you can't do that, then it's just not going to work. So then that also falls into standing on your boundaries and setting them and just being true to you. Because that's, if you are not a nonchalant person and you're trying to sit here and go tit for tat with a guy, then it's like you're not being your true self. And you're probably working to try to save a relationship with somebody that's not going to be your husband. So it's like, don't even waste your time, girl. That's what I have to say about that.
That was good. I think that was a good girl. That was a good whole segment. We could do a whole nother live on the nonchalantness on dating too. Like, I do want to give room for people who are, because I'm extroverted and I have an introvert part to me. When people get I'll be like, all right. Like, I of course I'm majority extroverted, but then I like to be extroverted on my terms. Like, don't make me be extroverted when I don't want to be. But I know I'm old. I can't be extroverted. But then I know there's a lot of people who are introverted who don't communicate how they feel as much. And so I get that, but even in that, say something. Like, again, I feel like communication is the baseline. Communication is one of the most important factors. Is the key to life. Like, it's in anything, relationships, family relationships, business relationships. Communication is important, key. So, like, again, if you have to guess how somebody feels about you, that leaves you. It breeds insecurity. Because you're in an insecure space with that person. I don't even know how this person really feel about me. Then nobody wants to build on that. And ladies, and I'm telling you from experience, there is nothing when a man is serious about you, and to know it, and to fully like, oh, it is the most beautiful base of safety, of love, of like, it's like this haven of just beauty and vulnerability. And it's just like, you just want to come home from work and it's like falling into the most comfortable bed ever because it's like everything here is okay because there's no type of confusion, there's no type of second guessing, there's no type of doubt. It's like, you my person and I'm yours. Baby, that's everything.
It really is. I'm sitting here beaming because I'm like, oh, that just, like, I have that. I feel
I
it. So it's just like, that's so cute. I love it.
It's beautiful because it's like, I don't have to question you. And then again, we do it. And then it's like with these people that, again, they're never gonna, those people that you gotta guess how they feel about you, chances are they don't have the most overwhelming feelings about you, and chances are that relationship is not gonna bear any good fruit.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be a situationship that you're gonna go back and forth for and waste the next 3 years of your life on. And I said that because that's normally how those things go.
And we don't got time for that in 2020.
We don't.
Okay, Maria. So, you do the whole dating thing. You guys are getting a little bit exclusive. So how can you as a woman not only show up for ourselves, but also show up for our partner to make sure that, we're still growing as individuals?
All right. I like to compare my relationships a lot to my business relationships and stuff like that, right? And like with y'all, I think one of the game changers to any relationship, you know how you have check-ins with your boss? Have check-ins with your man. Like, I feel like that. Like, we all sit down, maybe it's once a month, have a date night on a regular basis where it's like, y'all discuss like an evaluation of the relationship. Like, oh, is everything good? How can I support you better? What do you need from me in this season? Because maybe what I needed, maybe what you needed from me in last season, the season past, maybe the season before, you needed my motivation. And now in this season, you just need my encouragement, or you just need me, or you just, maybe one season you needed my motivation, and next season you actually need me to come in and help you with your goals. Like, you need more tangible support. Like, all right, you was motivating me before, but now I need you to help me package these books that I'm about to sell. So I think, like, having those times, with those designated times where you sit with your man, with your boo, whatever, and talk about your expectations, talk about what's going right, what do y'all feel like y'all need to work on the relationship. That's golden. We do that with our jobs. Our jobs have these performance evaluations and these performance check-ins to talk about your performance, and then align your performance with what the job expectations are, and then line that to what the company's values and missions and stuff. And this is how you support in that. Why don't you treat your relationship the same way?
Mm-hmm.
So what it all comes down to is communication, communication, communication. You can't guess, like I said, what worked for me one year, and now y'all in year 3, and we grow in relationship. So the person, Isis, the person you let's say, who you are now, right? And you and your man, let's say y'all together for the next 5 years. You're not gonna be the same person in 5 years. So he needs to be able to support Isis through the seasons of who Isis is going to be and who Isis is going to become. And where we mess up in relationships is we start off, okay, this is who you were in 2024, but is that going to be who you're going to be in 2027? And me, as your partner, I got to support you through all those seasons. And them seasons might change. You might have up seasons, you might have down seasons. So how can I make sure I'm supporting you, your goals, according to the season that you're in? And how do I get there? By communication. I can't just assume. Someone I know, we went through a season like that, and baby, it was communication got us through. It was like, nah, Maria, nah, not today. Like, I knew, like, it was more like, nah, Maria, not today. I don't even feel like, because I knew that person was going through a tough season, and he taught me how to support him in that season. I wanted to support him my way, and I didn't know that in supporting him my way, I was disrespecting his boundaries. And when a black man tells you to respect his boundaries, it's like, oh.
Like, okay.
Oh, I was like, he's like, nah, Maria, you gotta respect my boundaries. If I said no, I said no. And I'm like, oh my God. So again, you also have to be willing to respect that person's boundaries, even if you don't like it. And
Mm-hmm.
that comes with communication, because again, I was making the mistake of supporting someone the way I thought that person needed to support, and when he was like, no, this is how I want you to support me, and if you don't do it, I'm going to take it as you disrespecting and violating my boundaries. Communication. So what do you think? How do you think we as women can show up for ourselves in a relationship, and then also support our partners, as individuals, as they grow?
I feel like partners, like kind of like how you said, like a job, but more of like a business partnership in a sense, because you want to be building each other up.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like, helping them find better jobs, but more so like this is your kingdom. Like this is your unionship. So it's like, how are you going to make it better? So like that's always what I'm looking for when it comes to like building something with my partner. And I always say this to my friends, to anybody, to all the ladies out there, you have to invest in yourself before you can really invest into another person. So it's like, if you can't show up for yourself and you're not putting your best foot forward for yourself, then you most definitely cannot do that for a relationship. Like, it's so hard to try to like navigate the world on your own, and then you have to also incorporate somebody else's feelings into that.
Yeah.
That takes a certain level of intelligence and maturity, and sometimes we really have to grow to get there, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because what, like high school me, thinking about it in my perspective, like high school me, I would not be able to do that. I was not worried about no boy. I was just worried about that diploma. So it's like you have to just be in that season of your life to be like, okay, I can handle this and I'm ready. And then also understanding like like you said, who I am in 2024 will not be who I am in 2027. And
Mm-hmm.
am I okay with who my partner will potentially be?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But it's like you have to also understand like there's some steps that you have to contribute and take to now help them get to be that better person. And it's important.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. Yeah, and again, like you said, supporting people in different seasons and communication and all that. Yeah, you know, and I love that. Invest in yourself. And always feel like y'all should still have couple goals, what
Hmm.
y'all building, and also share each other's goals.
And
Like,
hold each other accountable
oh,
to set
oh my
goals.
God. And I think like that's such a safe, sacred space when you and you know what I'm saying? When y'all building something together and only y'all know, I think that's beautiful. It's like, nah, only
Hmm.
that person knows my goals. Like, you know,
Hmm.
there's one person, he gets the first phone call, he knows everything. I'm like, and this is what I'm working on. And to have that
Hmm.
like to have that support and to be like, all right, nah, this is what you do, this is what you could do. I know you could do it. You know, it's like that we all need that.
Hmm.
So like I think that like sharing goals with one another is really, really great. It'll hold you
It is.
accountable.
And don't
Mhm.
forget to not only tell yourself that you're proud of yourself, but tell your partner that you're proud of them because they probably don't get to hear that too often.
Let me tell y'all something. The words "I believe in you" and "I'm proud of you"
Hmm.
are some of the most powerful words your partner can tell you. That is when you have
Hmm.
somebody putting the battery in your back. Nah, babe, I got you. Nah, babe, I believe in you. Nah, babe, how we gonna get there? All right, babe, tell me
Hmm.
how we can do it. We can get it done. So what? All right, you didn't get that job, but what? We gonna fix the resume. We gonna do like
Hmm.
having believing in one another.
It's
Man, you
something.
are
It feels you feel
unstoppable.
unstoppable.
Like,
Yeah.
yes, and that's the thing. I think we underestimate ladies, and this is something we underestimate how much these men, especially these men of color, we underestimate how much they go through on a day to day, and they don't have any safe space to share it. They don't have any safe spaces to talk about it. They talk about it, and if they may not have they may not they may not come from environments where they feel like they can literally be vulnerable and talk about the challenges they may be experiencing, what are the burdens that they're carrying. And you, as his lady, wife, fiance, whatever, you carry such a special space that you can be his encourager. If you A man who knows that he is believed in and he is supported, he can share his vulnerability with you. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. And when someone does, especially a man, especially a black man or a man of color, gives you his vulnerability, manage it and steward it well. It is like he just handed, because let me tell you, these men don't know how to be vulnerable.
Hmm.
So it's like him putting a little baby version of himself in your hands. Steward that,
Handle it
manage
with
that.
care.
Yes, handle it with care because it was not easy for him to do it. Don't throw it back in his face. Don't be manipulative. Don't use what he said against him. Just be like, you know what, babe, we gonna figure it out.
Hmm.
I got it. So go ahead.
Yeah. I feel like that's a really beautiful part of relationships. But I just feel like no one in this day and age wants long-term commitment anymore. So, how do I stand on those boundaries and express that to the people that I'm dating?
If somebody doesn't want long-term commitment and you do, I know, easier said than done, but it's just walk away.
Hmm.
Leave it alone. Be willing to walk away. And I live by something. One of the principles I live by is someone chooses to leave my life at their own will. I have to allow them to exercise the power in their free will, and I have to let them leave.
Hmm.
I don't live nobody in my life that I don't hold nobody in my life that don't. That's bondage. That's not love. Love, you have, in order for me to love you, I have to exercise my free will and choose to love you. So if someone is choosing not to be in a serious committed relationship with me, then I respect it. I now have to love myself enough to say I have to now excuse myself from this
Hmm.
situation. And where we mess up at is we pay attention to what these men can do and not what they say. What do I mean by that? A lot of men will profess, hey, I don't want to do anything, I don't want anything serious, but then will move in a way and their actions are like you feel like they are your boyfriend because you see them every day, you're talking to them every day, you're being intimate with them, you're sharing all the intimate parts of you with them, whether it's physically, emotionally, spiritually, right? You guys are going on dates. It feels like you guys are in a relationship, right? But then he's saying, well, I don't want anything serious, blah, blah, blah. And what he means by that code word is, listen, I want to keep my options open so that he can date other people, and I'm not going to give you the best of me right now. I want to, he's saying that he doesn't want to be committed, right? But you're going off of how he's moving. He's like, but dang, he speaks to me every day, he calls me, da, da, da. I don't know the difference. Pay attention to what he told you. Because the minute you start to say anything about, well, or express any dissatisfaction with him dating or being around other women, or you and him not being exclusive, the first thing he's going to revert to is, I told you I don't want to do anything serious. But you chose to continuously engage with him. You did not put boundaries on him. So what I say to that, and something that I live by, what my pastor taught us maybe 15 years ago, he said, if someone does not want to be committed to a relationship, then you cannot give that person the benefits of a committed relationship. And that's where we go wrong. We hear what they say and we say, okay, cool, he doesn't want anything serious, all right, but then you continue engaging with them. Most of us don't know how to delineate the difference. There are some people who can rock and casual, all right, cool, but then a lot of us don't. So I say, if that's what that person does, have boundaries. What are going to be the no-nos? That if someone says they want to just engage with you in a casual manner, then what are the lines of demarcation? Well, in order to cross this line, you have to engage with me in more than a casual manner. So you don't get to cross that line. Maybe it's coming to your house. Maybe it's going on dates. Maybe it's calling me all the time. Maybe it's being readily available. Why would I make myself readily available for someone who said they just want to date casually? No, you don't get text backs. You don't get my phones. You don't. If I feel like returning your phone call, I will. You get what I'm saying? And you can't be mad at that. So I would say, yeah, that's what I say. Have boundaries. Don't give them the benefits. Love yourself enough to walk away. And that might be hard. It might be hard. You might be sad, but you'll love yourself for it. And there's something I was talking to someone over the weekend about this. The heartbreak, and it eventually ends. You get over it. I know it may feel like, oh my God, this person, and I really like it. Baby, better is coming. Okay? Better is coming. I said better is coming. You will be all right. Cry it out, pray it, whatever you need to do, but better is coming. You deserve better than that. And you should be willing to wait out for the best. What do you say about that?
I don't really understand why people don't want long term anymore. Only because I feel like the dating pool is like, once you get somebody, you better figure it out with them. Because there's not too many options, so you better figure it out. So that's truthfully how I feel like. Not to say that you stay in a situation that's not good for you, but if it's like things that you guys can definitely grow from as partners, I would say try to stick it out. But it's like, if it really doesn't work for you and it's not good for your spiritual, mental, or just doesn't align with your boundaries, then of course let it go. But that's what I would say. I personally,
I don't
go
know
ahead.
why I didn't want to work it out. I said, I don't know why I didn't want to work
I
it out.
don't know.
I don't know.
Because they don't want to take accountability.
True.
That's the real truth. They don't want to take accountability. But one thing that I feel like women sometimes fall into, and I've seen my friends do it, I've done it, I've been a victim of it, is that a guy will tell us that they don't want anything serious, they don't want a committed relationship, but we still engage with them and give them that access to like relationship type behavior, and but we're doing it because we're like, we can change him. Like, oh, if I'm giving him this like type of attention and love and da 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 and type of treatment, then he'll change his mind. But it's like, no, he said what he said. Listen to him the first time.
And he meant it, yeah. And that's
So
why I
like,
say to protect. Go ahead, sorry.
no,
I,
go ahead. I actually
was-
want to hear your thought.
I was just saying to protect yourself
Mm-hmm.
as a woman. Don't engage or keep that engagement to a bare minimum because you're going to fall deeper and deeper into the hole. Oh God, I speak to so many of my mentees and all of y'all who do this. I'm like, okay, so he doesn't want anything serious, but you still going to his house. Y'all still going on dates. Y'all still moving in that boyfriend girlfriend type behavior. All it's doing is confusion. It's confusing you. You're getting confused. You're dealing with, it's a misalignment. It's that ambiguity again. It's like, oh, he's my boyfriend, but we acting like we not, and then I can't say anything if he starts dating other people, and then but that's okay because I'm dating other people, but you really only dating other people because he's
But
not
he's
trying to.
doing it.
Exactly. You don't want to date anyone else. You just doing it. And you think that if you date other people, all of a sudden he's going to care. Let me tell you, like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, when a man is serious about you, he ain't fitting to play no games. He's not playing
Mm-hmm.
any games about you. He's not going to take for you to do all of that, baby. You just got to show up
You
and
just
do what you
gotta
do.
be
And
you.
be yourself. Do what you do,
Exactly.
and he's gonna see it, and he's gonna say, "You know what? Let me just snatch you out of these dating streets,
Mm-hmm.
and now you mine. So I'm pulling you out of the dating pool. Let me come and get you." And I think honestly, as women, we're worth more.
Right.
We're worth more. Like you said, if that's something you want to engage with, and you don't want anything serious, okay, cool. But you worth more. This is the season of I deserve better.
Mm-hmm.
So you deserve better than that, and you'll get through.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like this kind of goes into my next question. How can self-love and personal development practices kind of enhance your dating experience and the relationships that you create?
I think honestly, work on becoming a better you, and you'll find yourself attracting better opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like when you're loving yourself, you'll find yourself in healthier, fulfilling relationships. Like I think we talked about this earlier. Isis, you said it. It's like once you love you and you in a good relationship with you, that's gonna be the catalyst, excuse me, to build up your other relationships. So I don't think that I think one of the greatest keys to having a good relationship with yourself is with others is to have one with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Self-love, self-respect, honoring yourself, being proud of yourself, speaking your own love languages or practicing your own love languages on yourself. And once you get that, you'll find yourself in a lot more fruitful and satisfying relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I know both. I know what it is to be in dating people when you're not in the best space, and I know what it is to be dating people when you are. And you feel so much better about yourself, and you have the self advocacy enough to walk away from things that aren't good for you. To be like, oh, you are not for me, or to advocate for yourself and you know deal with others accordingly. What do you think?
I feel like for me, there was a point in my life where I had like just broken up with somebody and I really wasn't feeling like myself only because when you're in a committed relationship, I feel like sometimes we can lose ourselves if we're in too deep or just like putting too much of ourselves into a relationship. So I feel like I was at that point in my life and then a really nice guy came about. It was like one of those like, oh, I wasn't searching for him, but he came and oh, I remember I did not do right by him at all. Mm-mm-mm. I just wasn't in that space, but he was so sweet. So it was one of those like, all right, like I do like your attention. I think you're a cool dude. But I was the one that was saying like, hey, I just got it out of something that was long term. I don't really even want anything to do with guys right now, honestly. Like everybody leave me alone. But I still entertained him because he still entertained me. And I feel like he was just like, well, why don't you like me? I'm like, well, it's not that I don't like you. It's just that I don't want anything serious. And I was being serious when I said that. And I was like, I appreciate your company and all that good stuff, but I feel like I don't want something committed. He just didn't understand that. And it got to the point where we were like, okay, like, what are we going to do? Or he'll
Right.
be like, well, why are you acting like this? And it's just like, well, what else do you want me to say? Like, I'm telling you what it is. So I feel like that's a perfect example of like, listen to people when they really do tell you what their intentions are. And also, don't try to fix damaged people because you didn't do anything to them. Not to say don't fix them, but if they're like putting their damage on you, like, you don't have to take that if you don't want to, and if it doesn't work for you. Like, honestly, if I was in his shoes, I would have been like, all right, bye, girl. I'm leaving a long time ago, because I feel like he should have definitely stood on his boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just an example. Sometimes we can be the offender, and
Mm.
sorry to that man, because he was so nice. Like, no, genuinely speaking, like, he really got me in like a very low point of like after being broken up with. I hope he got a nice girlfriend. I really
Oh,
do. I really do. Like,
I hope he watches this live. Like, Isis is sorry. She
I'm
fumbled
sorry.
the ball.
But now I guess that plays into my next question. Because, like, what type of strategies can you use to set those healthy boundaries and also prioritize your mental well-being when you're dating? Because it's crazy.
It is.
It is.
I think you have to know what you got the capacity for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you were able to employ healthy boundaries. Like, what do I have the capacity? And I love this definition of capacity. It's the maximum amount that something can attain.
Mm-hmm.
Once you know your capacity, you know what you can maintain, set your boundaries. Again, knowing your values. Your values are really important, and your values should be the foundation of your boundaries. So you gotta know what's important to you, what matters most. And once you know your values, you can set your boundaries. And then after you set your boundaries, you know your intentions, right? Around dating, so that can be fueling your boundaries. So if you know, like, you're really looking for something serious, then your boundaries should enforce that.
Yeah.
Should reinforce that. You should not be entertaining people who aren't. Like, little things like that.
Yeah.
So I think, like, that's knowing what you had a capacity for, knowing your values, using your values to set your boundaries and your intentions to kind of fuel your boundaries around dating. That's what I would say. Yeah. Because your mental, and honestly, don't take a lot of these things personally. Like, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we can internalize it, like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I was like, sometimes it is you. I'm not gonna lie.
That is
Sometimes it
true.
is. Sometimes it is. If you find yourself running into the same type of scenarios, in the same type of challenges, and people are expressing the same type of uh, I want to say, for lack of a better word,
Or,
challenges or grievances about you, then you might want to do some work.
yeah.
But then sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's like, no, that's your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to impose your stuff on me. So that's what I say. Like, don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that, honestly. And when you're going into dating, I feel like your mental health has to be in check, like, because you're dealing with different types of personalities, you're dealing with different types of love languages, upbringings, and those really play a role in like how you interact with people. So sometimes one person might treat you this way, and you're like, well, what did I do? Like, am I not a good partner? X, Y, and Z. And then you come across somebody else that makes you feel like, okay, like, maybe, like you said, it was their stuff, it wasn't my stuff. So it's like, you have to be confident in the fact, like, you know exactly what you bring to the table, you know the inner work that you've done, and you know the type of partner that you can be. So it's like, lead with that, lead with love, and just see where it goes.
Yep. I
Hmm.
love that. I love how you said a lot of people come with a lot of
And you
stuff.
can't let them put that on you.
Yeah, you can't let that put that, like, that is not my stuff. That is
Mm-mm.
just. And it took time for me to learn what was my stuff and what was, their stuff.
Yeah, that's true. This is it. We are at the last question.
Last question.
Okay. So, what are some ways that people can intertwine authenticity and vulnerability with dating, and less association of dating with like the pressures of being someone that they're not? Like, how can you stay true to you?
I think first it starts with knowing who you are. Like, you gotta know who you are. I think a lot of us say we know who we are, but we don't.
Yeah.
We let social media tell us what we are. We let society tell us what you are. You listen. So I think it starts with knowing who you are. That's it. and being okay with that, embracing your strengths and your weaknesses, and loving yourself through that, and of kind of being yourself, being who you were authentically created to be, and having confidence in that. And I think we throw around that word confidence and not know, and I love to dissect words. The definition of confidence means the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something, a firm trust, the state of feeling certain about the truth of something, or a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities and qualities. That is my favorite definition in this context.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're assured about your own ability and your own quality, then you're going to show up and be authentic and be vulnerable, and know that not every space has earned your vulnerability. But in spaces when you're dating and you are vulnerable, not telling all your business on the first date, he shouldn't know everything about you on the first date, right? But you take the pressure off yourself, and you know that you're not measuring yourself by how that person measures you or sees you, right? That's how you do it. Once you have that confidence, that knowing who you are, who you're not, having that reassurance and appreciation of your own ability and quality, you can engage with other people in a healthy, vulnerable, authentic way, because you're like, yo, baby, how you feel about me isn't going to change how I feel about me. And I wasn't always there.
Mm-hmm.
I used to let other people's approval of me or what that person said about me. And because that one person had a bad interaction with me, now you're this horrible person. No, that's not true. I fumbled the ball. I'm human. But you know what? That doesn't negate all the other beautiful parts of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, like, yeah, having that confidence, appreciate what makes you you, and your unique and your ability and qualities. And yeah, so if you don't know who you are, you gotta work on that first. You gotta work on that. Continue working on that. And that's gonna grow, that's gonna change, but you gotta have some level of self-assurance, like you said, Isis, the inner work, um, so that you can intertwine authenticity and vulnerability um in your dating. Because once you love yourself, you're not trying to be nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got to say. How would you like to end this one on our last question?
What I like to say, I feel like this generation, they want to, like, I don't want to say open up too quickly, but I feel like they really do want to, like, be let you into all of their life right away. And I just feel like some people just don't deserve that right away.
Mhm,
Like, I feel like they need to earn that. Like, vulnerability is a very, very intricate space to be
mhm,
in. So I feel like you can't just give it to everybody. And I was speaking to one of my friends about this because we were talking about this live. And she was like, I feel like I'm not being my true self if I'm not being vulnerable. And I feel like I'm like, no, like, you can give people bits and pieces, but you don't have to let them into your whole life. So that would be my advice to anybody out there that's getting into the dating scene. Don't feel like you have to tell them, this is my upbringing, this is my baggage, this is that. These are all the experiences that I've been through. So boom, be my boyfriend.
mhm,
Like, no, like, you can, just let them get to know you, and then as you guys get more serious, then we can be like, okay, like, this is something that was traumatic to me, this is how I feel like it might play a role in our relationship. Like, those things come later, and I feel like that could kind of scare somebody on
mhm.
the first
Oh,
date.
yes, too
Yeah,
much, too
for
much.
sure.
I
But
think
you don't say
that,
it again.
okay, too
Oh,
much.
it is too much, but I feel like you can still be your true self without, like, giving every single detail of your life. So it's like, learning how to balance the two.
Mhm,
And social media, it just makes us feel like, oh my gosh, we need to be doing this, I need to look this certain way to attract these type of dates and X, Y, and Z. But it's like, if you're true to you and you're authentic and you're really embracing who you are and stepping into the woman that you want to be, then there's not going to be any pressure around dating or trying to be someone you're not, because you're comfortable in your own skin. So I feel like just lead dating like that.
I agree. And for that kind of vulnerability, see me grad, I think everybody should read. This is a great book to read. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown talks about vulnerability in such a profound way. And this is the very start, This was the genesis of my work of my inner work around vulnerability and teaching about it. So I think Brene Brown does a great job on breaking down vulnerability. A lot of the curriculums that we teach at EmbraceHerLegacy are based off of some of the teachings that I learned in here. So I think if it's a good book to read to hone in on vulnerability and self-compassion and authenticity. She does a great job of that. And I think that sometimes a lot of us don't really know. I tend to say a lot of us don't really know what vulnerability is. So to your friend, I was saying, well, I don't feel like I'm being myself if I'm not vulnerable. That's not true, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that. It's like not every space has earned your vulnerability, right?
Yes,
So
exactly.
you wanna and you wanna just be careful with that. And two, just because you're willing to be all vulnerable on date 3, someone else may not be there, and that's okay. And I didn't know, especially with men, it takes men. I tell you, because we got a lot of our black men, right? The men of color, period. They don't have spaces to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, it may take time to be vulnerable with you, and you got to be okay with that. You can't. You. It may take some time for someone to let you in, and you got to respect that. So you can't. You shouldn't be out here telling everybody your business on the first date. But still, you want to be authentic to who you are. But yeah, I think just try to work. Just read this book.
Yeah.
Just read the book and it'll help you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was
That
good.
was good. I enjoyed it.
All right. So honestly, y'all, we'll be back with another live soon. I would love to get to the point where I could get to do lives every week, but I'll be CEOing, and then
Yeah.
sometimes I do not feel like coming on camera. But I will. We will do. But I think we're doing a lot better this year, Isis. Like this is like
No, we've been doing
we've
good
been
with the
doing
live.
good, right, with
Mhm.
our lives. Like from last Q4 2023 and the first quarter of 2024, I think these are the most lives we've done
Yeah,
collectively. So I think we're doing good. I
we
think
are. We patting ourselves on the back. We doing something.
little accomplishments. So we will do more lives. If y'all have suggestions on topics, especially how we intertwine the millennial and Gen Z perspective, I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of times in these conversations we just put Gen Z and millennials in the same category, and it's like no.
No.
It's like no. Gen Z I work with, they are all on my team. I mentor Gen Z. They think a little differently than a lot of differently than a lot of us
Mm-hmm.
millennials. So if there's any conversation which you want to see us really engage with the millennial and Gen Z perspective, whether it's relationships, confidence, dating, personal development,
Careers.
career, business, entrepreneurship, we could definitely bring on more guest speakers and have maybe
Mm-hmm.
like more people, other different voices to come in and speak on. Definitely let us know in the comments below. If you're watching on YouTube, on Instagram, please make sure to go and get and download the Break Up with Your Inner Saboteur e-workbook. A lot of what we discussed about worthiness, about authenticity, about vulnerability, about self-confidence, you will download that workbook and we will walk you. I wrote it in a way that I'm walking you step by step on how to really work and start to deal with those issues and do the inner work. It's a great resource. So you can get it on our Patreon page. It's the Break Up with Your Inner Saboteur e-workbook. It's self-paced. Download it, get you your journal, and work on it. And we have something special coming for y'all real soon.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, anything else to mention? Isis.
No, just keep on keeping up with Embrace Her Legacy. We have great things coming very soon. Stay tuned for the Summer Institute because that's coming soon too.
That
And
is really coming
yeah,
soon. It is. All right. All right, everyone. Have a good
have a good
night.
night.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.